Hi, welcome back to a Flippin' Mess reselling channel. Today we're going to go over my sales for the week of July 3rd through July 9th. It's a little bit better than the prior week, but it's still summer slowdown, so not as good as you'll see from August to December. So the first thing that sold was on eBay. It was a beautiful Stevens & Williams vase, a rare one from the 1800s that glowed under blacklight. Sold for $105 and I paid $15 for it. The next thing that sold was a pair of Kate Spade boots. I believe I showed those in one of my hauls. They sold for $30, which was a little low, but sales were slow, so sometimes I'll take an offer that's lower than I want just to get that eBay algorithm to kick in. I paid $10.58 for those. Next, we have a J. Jill dress. It sold for $20.99. Again, I usually like to get about $28 for those, but I only paid $8.99, so it was fine. Next, we have a pair of Nike Solar Soft shoes. This was a good sale. They sold for $40. I bought them for $8.99 at the local Goodwill. The next sale I've had forever, so I'm just glad to see it go. They were a pair of Party Light votive holders. The time I bought them, I didn't realize they were Party Light. I just thought they were really pretty and that someone would buy them. They only sold for $11.01 and I paid $5.98. So by the time you factor in bubble wrap and packaging, probably lost money on those. But they're out of my house, which is good. Next, we have a Columbia shirt. This sold for $16.05. Columbia PFG sells quick, but not for a lot of money, so you have to buy them low. This one I paid a little more than I would have liked to. I paid $6.99, but it'll still be fine. Finally, we have a pair of J. Crew pants. This was something else that's been in my closet for probably 2 years or more. And they only sold for $11.80. I paid $4.99, so maybe a little bit of profit, but not much there. Then we have a pair of Mark Fisher boots. I don't pick up all Mark Fisher, but this particular style, the combat boots, it was high quality leather, and they did well. They sold quick. They sold for $38.15, and I paid $15 for them, which is a little more than I'd like to, but it's okay. Okay, the next sale is why I venture into hard goods. I love selling hard goods. They take a little longer to sell usually. In this case, it sold quickly, but it was a 4-inch M.A. Hadley pottery plate with a little angel on it. Super cute. I paid $1.25 for this plate. It was part of a set, and it sold for $34.99 within a couple days of listing it. Hey, shh. Okay. Our next thing that sold was a Thought London dress. This is a brand that I never picked up before. I picked it up one time to see how it did. Did not do well. I took a best offer on it for $10 to get it out of the store. I paid $7.99. So lesson learned, I won't pick up that brand again. Okay, then we have a Foxcroft shirt. It sold for $14. I usually get like $14 to $21 on those, so not a lot. And I usually only pick them up if I'm getting them for $1 or $2, like on a Goodwill 75% off sale. But in this case, I did pay more for it. I paid $4.99. Then we have a Chico's dress. This one sold for $18. I paid $7.99. Okay, here's another jewelry or hard goods sale. Again, another reason why I love this stuff. It does take a little while to move, but this is a older, I bought a lot of jewelry from an auction. It was all 1930s to 1950s. This was in that lot. It was a gold-plated elk pin or brooch. Sold for $84.90. And when you figure out how many pieces I got in the lot, I paid about $1 per item. So this was a huge profit margin. And almost everything I've sold from that lot has sold for $35 or more. So that's been a great lot. Okay, next we have a Jordan hoodie. This sold in about 24 hours of it being listed. It sold for $33.05. I bought it at the local Goodwill for $8.49. Then we have a Columbia dress. This was shown in one of the haul videos. It sold a little less than I'd like, but I never expect to get a lot for Columbia. It sold for $19.45, and I paid $6.99. Then we have a pair of Allegria shoes. I love selling Allegria, but I used to get a lot more money for it than I do now. So you have to watch, because the thrift stores know Dansko, Allegria, Sanita around me anyway. So they tend to mark them pretty high. And used to be able to get like 35 and up for them, but this pair sold for $25.40, and I paid $11.99. So I paid more than I probably should have for this pair. Next, we have a pair of Remix Rock Revival jeans. This was a good sale. I took an offer for $25.40. I paid $2.12 at the Goodwill 75% off sale. So even though it's only a $25 sale, the profit margin was great on these jeans. And I generally like to sell anything Rock Revival. Okay, finally we have a Supreme picture. This has been in my store for what seems like forever. I picked it up at a Burlington probably 2 or 3 years ago. It sold for $42.46. I only paid $7 for it. So it is a good return, but I'm not sure I would do it again because it's been sitting around for a long time. Finally, on eBay, we have the Adidas Ivy Park shoes that I showed in one of the haul videos. In fact, it was the thumbnail for the video. I took an offer and they sold for $63.65. I paid $14.99. I did have several more eBay sales come in last night, but I'm going to include those in the next video since I already went through my numbers. So for eBay, that puts me at $644.30 in sales this week and a cost of goods of $151.32. Next, we have Poshmark. The first thing that sold on Poshmark was this J. Crew linen dress. Sold for $18. This shows why I'm hesitant to pick up J. Crew, because seems like almost everything goes for less than $20 these days. But in this case, I only paid $5.25, so it's not horrible. Then we have a pair of AGL loafers. I love selling AGL. Most of the time when I pick up AGL, it's flats. So this pair was a little unusual for me. They sold for $49 on Poshmark. I paid $12.29. Then we have another Columbia PFG shirt, and this one was a ridge shirt. They don't do as well as the standard PFG shirts. It only sold for $10 and I paid $7.29, so not a great buy. Then we have a Polo Ralph Lauren sweater. This particular style, it's a classic, it's preppy, so it will sell, but there are a lot of them available because Polo Ralph Lauren's been making them for forever. So there's a lot of competition. So generally, I usually pass them up unless I notice that they're in particularly good condition, or if they're made of cashmere or wool, I might be more likely to pick them up. In this case, it only sold for $17. I was just glad to have an offer on it and keep things moving in my store. I paid $7.49 for it. The next sale on Poshmark was Teos sandals. This is a great brand. It doesn't sell super high. It's usually $25 to $35, somewhere in that range. But a lot of times, because they are sandals, you can get them super cheap. Like in this case, they sold for $25 and I only paid $3 for them. So for Poshmark, my total sales for the week were $119 and my cost of goods sold was $35.32. Now, if you're not familiar with Poshmark, you have to do a lot of sharing your closet, sending offers. You have to be very active. I'm not the best at doing that. Generally, I prefer the almost list it and forget it model of eBay over Posh, but I do cross post a lot of my stuff onto Poshmark so that I can get whatever sales I can get. It can only help, right? Okay, on Mercari, we sold this pair of Aerosol wedge shoes. Again, that's a brand I usually pass by, but I went ahead and picked them up because they were in almost new condition, and they were in part of the 75% off color of the week at Goodwill. So they sold for $17 and I only paid $2.75. And they actually sold within about a week of being listed. Then we have this green seed bead bracelet, sold for $10. And I probably paid 50 cents to $1 for it. It was part of a Goodwill Blue Box during the pandemic that I just got around to listing a couple weeks ago. Then we have this pair of Ms. Moose sandals. These I usually sell for higher than this, but I think I did the Mercari thing where it drops your price over time, and they made an offer and I accepted $24. I would have liked to have got about $35 for these, but I only paid $9.29, so it's fine. And the fees on Mercari are a lot lower. Finally, on Mercari, we have this West Virginia pottery spoon rest. I believe this was in my first haul video from Salvation Army. Sold for $14 and I paid $2.99. So my total sales for Mercari for the week were $65 and my cost of goods sold was $16.03. On Whatnot, I did have 9 sales this week. I'm not going to include those in my final numbers because since this was only my second Whatnot sale, and it's a live auction, I think the highest any of my items got to was $5 an item. So, and I am selling items that have been in my store for a really long time. So they're things that I'm just happy to get rid of. So I netted about $25 on that sale, but I'm not going to include those in my final numbers. So the totals for what I included in sales were $828.30. I paid $202.67 for the items, and fees, overestimating the fees just to give you a general idea, but there's a huge range. So my fees range from, I don't even know Whatnot's offhand, but they're really low, to 13% all the way up to 20%. So I factored them in at 20%, the highest amount, $125.13 in fees, which makes my net $500.50 for this week. Not bad for July, which is typically my worst month of sales. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And let me know if you like haul videos, if you like the what sold videos, or what type of videos you would like to see about reselling. Also, I'm having a Whatnot sale this Wednesday on women's activewear again. So I have leggings, hoodies, shirts, all of the great things. It's a live action platform and every item is starting at $2. We have Lululemon, Athleta, and a lot of great brands. So please join me on Whatnot, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.